Alright, folks, welcome back. 皆さん、おかえりなさい。今日は315日目です。It is day 315. Today's lesson day. Let's keep our alerts on. Curious about the vocabulary, actually. I think this time around, fairly familiar characters. We're kind of getting to the point where most characters are largely familiar, largely to the combination of kanji and hanzi. Alright, let's get into it. The review part should be fairly quick.
攻撃する。
表情。あ、
監視。移住者。
空き缶
空き缶。
はなんて言うっけ？
構成。大臣。
診断する。夏。日曜。Okay. Oh wait. Yes.
積もる。精神的。五感。
程よく。官僚的。
かすか。
情け。情け。Kinda like feeling. Oh, I know. Pity.
処置。
処置。
欧米。
総理大臣。感動する。 What?
感動する
Oh, I must have had a typo somewhere.
情
情
熱
熱。ん
駅
駅。
逆さま
逆さま。
詰まる
まる。
総理
総理。
閣
閣僚。いちご。課
課長
長。
並べる
並べる。
節
節
々
々。練
練習
習。Right? 我が我が我が
面積
面積。
緊急
緊急。
構
構え。駅
駅前
前。
中央
中央。中央。同
同僚
僚。お
事情
事情。oops
監督
監督。登録
登録する
する。
怖がる
わかる。
映る
映る。あ
待たせる
ー、焦る。Oh, that was a little uncertain.
精神病
精神病。体
体積
積。
耐える
耐える。
完了
完了。Oops.
乾く
乾く。
乾杯
乾杯。 Okay. Hmm. Ooh. Oh no. Uh-oh. Hmm. That's a tough one. This is before I started writing things for Kun. I want to say it has something to do with directions. Hmm. Hmm. Probably not with directions, but the mnemonic has something to go somewhere. Yo. The line of text. Something about gyoza and oh yeah. Okay. Let's write something for this. I have coal to work with. Coal. Line. Not quite line. There's not much to write, huh? In a line of text to the gyoza go. I think we're just gonna have to. That one's a little too limited. Yochien. Hiking. Genmai. Oops. Not map. Flag. Tonkotsu ramen. Oh! Did I...
Tonkotsu ramen.
Tonkotsu ramen. Typo.
Genkan.
Nishi.
Nushi.
よし。緊張。
鉄
鉄
板
板。Oh, what? Oh, typo.
埋もれる。
埋もれる。
冷やす。
精一杯。
炒める。
Oh, just kidding. 退くれ。退ける。Whoops.
退ける。
退ける。歓
歓
喜。
喜。
揃える。
揃える。先ほど。
先ほど。
なるほど。
なるほど。
あ。Oh, no. 車輪。寄せる。All right. It's a cake. We'll grab the other two in like 43 minutes. It's probably going to take me more than 43 minutes to get through the lessons. I'm expecting around 60. It's been that way. 80-60 sort of. Let's get into our lessons quickly. Iron fence. Makes sense. That's iron fence. That's Zaka. Saku. Makes sense. Electric fence. Denki. Denki saku.
Denki saku.
Makes sense. Lineage is lineage. System. Ki. K. Dang it. You trace your lineage back through your whole family system and realize every single relative loved cake. I guess we'll go with that. Yep. Seems pretty fine. Fence. Oh. I think this is just Saku.
Saku.
Yeah, Saku. Exposition. Let's see. So we have the exhibit. Look at. Oh, interesting. So that's not a exhibition. Interesting. The exhibition you look at and all the people come meet together. Well, that just sounds like the description of exposition. Fair. Oh, it does has exhibition. Okay. What do we have here? How come Haku? Hakurankai. Eh?
博覧会。
Hakurankai. Alright. Cool.
電気柵。
Denki stuck.
鉄
It
柵。
suck it.
博覧会。
段階
作
Alright, those are free so far. The new character is okay. Lineage and cake. Gotcha. Allure. Makes sense. Using power as a modifier. Or like an effect. Allure. Something alluring with the power to allure. So what do we got? Miryoku. Michi. Miriki? That kind of sounds okay.
魅力
Miryoku. Okay. Miryoku is fine. Marriage makes sense. Kekkon.
結婚
Right. Addition. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, addition. Ban. Ban. I wonder if this is just ban. Han? I'll take it. Makes sense. That would be Han. Probably some bans due to Rendaku. Marriage proposal? Yeah.
求婚
Yukon. Yep. Still free. Oh, this one's cute. I like this phrase. They have like newlywed traveling or newlywed trip. Newly marriage. Oh, shinkon. Shinkon ryori.
新婚旅行
Ryoko. Sorry, not nori. Ryoko. Shinkon ryoko. Pretty good. Good enough. What do they want for this? I would write addition. Oh, okay. That's fine.
Miryoku. 結婚求婚
Yukon.
新婚旅行
Onyoko. Niece? I don't think it's May.
メイ
May? Really? Oh wait, is this Kunyomi? Oh, if this is Kunyomi, I screwed up. Alright, we'll adjust that. So for the last 5 days, I was ascribing it as Onyomi. But we gotta make sure it's Kunyomi. Mei is also Onyomi as well. But in this case, Mei
メイ
is Kun. Okay. Good to know. Unmarried, yes. Not yet.
Mikon.
Mikon. Okay, to prolong something. Okay. We're gonna get a new Kunyomi probably here. Conveys the idea of expanding upon something that already exists to make it longer. Fair enough. Some time and physical. Okay. Do I know something about this? Probably not. No, I don't really.
伸ばす
Nobasu. Interesting. Nobasu. So what do we have access to? Basu. Basu we can use, sort of. Or do we separate it? Ba is bad for now. Or could we use something like band? Oh, no, that's ban. We could also use bus. I don't know how many busus there are. I'm actually kind of curious. Let's go check. That's not many. And then it could yeah, that's not many. 4 though. Yeah, I kind of want to create a thing for the dictionary form of things. So let's go with basu. Okay, so we can still use su. Su on the basu. No said to prolong the ride. No said. Okay. All right, next one. Encho.
延長
It's good enough. Prolonging. To postpone. Enki suru. Ne? To postpone. Long the. Fair enough. And that's a period. So.
延期する
Enki suru. Alright. Largely free, except for this one.
伸ばす
No bus. Oh, we could change it to no bus. Sue said there's no. Oh, no, but we would have to add prolong.
めい
未婚 延長延期する
Right? Alright, how many do we have? We did 15, right? 63? About norm. Pleasant. Do not have a present. Pleasant yet. Do I know a pleasant? Not quite.
心よい
Nope. Kokoro yoi is definitely not in my mind. Okay, we can use kokoro though. Kokoro is definitely good to go with here. And yoi is also good. So it's just combination of two. Which, that's fine. Kokoro yoi is great. So maybe we want to link it with kai, right? The kayaking with the eagle was yoi. I was gonna say yoi para mi kokoro. Sorry, I for a minute there I forgot how to use prepositions in English. I thought I started using Spanish instead. It kind of complements really well though, right? Although that was in order, so like, all right, mi kokoro, right? Let's see. Yeah, para kokoro. Para mi kokoro, right? For is kokoro. Was yoi. Right. Was yoi. Okay. Kokoro yoi. Alright. Pleasant. So yeah, kai-kan? Pleasure. Alright. Feeling of pleasant, yeah, pleasure.
快感
Kai-kan. Scarce. Lack? Yeah. Can we have lack here too? I'm just gonna write lacking. Oh. Scarce. Fa. Right, we're talking about fa. Ball. Ball, yeah. That would definitely it. Ball. Pretty negative. An example. Oh, there's lack. Ketsubo. Okay. Interesting. Oh, they do the same thing. Bean. Yeah, that's the bean ball. I see. Okay. High speed. Interesting. Pleasant. Oh, that is interesting. So they still use this for speed. Is there an alt meaning? They didn't add an alt meaning. Interesting. So there are still examples of using it as fast. Quite. Right. This is quite so. Interesting. It's pleasant but also fast when getting on a train. The high speed. Okay. Interesting. What do we have here? What the heck is this?
快
Kaisu?
速
Kaisoku. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. Not pleasant or uncomfortable. Ukai.
深い
Okay.
心よい
Yoi.
Kaikan Kaisoku
So good. I only remember express. What was the other one? Oh, high speed. Right.
深い
Okay. Alright. Nostalgia. Natsu is kun, so natsukashi.
懐かしい
Okay. Natsukashi. To take a picture. Toru. Toru?
撮る
Toru. Okay. My first gut instinct was good that time. Toru. That's fine. Toru we're really familiar with. We'll leave it go. Push. Os. Oh. Yes. I meant to push, but oh. I don't think we're gonna need anything because oh, you know what's funny? I should have made the connection with button. Oh no, wait, button is different. I have a problem with one of the characters in button. Oh, I know what button is. Yeah, for hull. Hull is a problem. Double body parts. From Hansu. Okay. Photography. Huh. That's it. Satsuei.
撮影
Yes, makes sense. Secret photograph. Oh, steal. Interesting. Hold up. Yeah, there's an extra stroke here in Hanzu. But what was that? Oh. Interesting. Secret photo. Filling photographs of you. Wait, you didn't know? Not quite. I guess I see what it. I see where they're coming from though. So what do we have? Tosatsu.
盗撮
Okay.
取る
懐かしい
Natsugashi.
盗撮
Tosatsu.
撮影
Satsue. Alright. Flag? I could see this as key, but I feel like it could be something else. And I don't remember what flag is.
旗
Hata. How many hatas do we have? I feel like we do have a pretty decent number of hatas. We might be able to keep hatter. It kind of reminds me of kata. Look at hata. I typed hata and I got a bunch of random things. Oh no, these must be their kunyomi reads. These must have kunyomi reads that line up with hata. I think we're gonna keep hata at that case. Like, let me make sure it's not doing like a single match. Oh, it's taking part of the huge phrase too. Oh wait, so yeah, we're keeping hata. Right, this is ta and hata. Okay. Let's see what it is. Hata. Oh, this isn't technically hata. It's hatara. Hataraku. But we can use hata. Alright. Let's keep hata. So we got key, flag. Oh no, I don't have. In a flag. Hata. Dama hata. Oh, well, how are they related? That's gotta be careful here. So we can go with the flag. I don't like Mad Hatter. Throw that in. E to the Mad Hatter. Hata's riddle. Okay. These are kind of trite. I still feel like we may want to add like an extra two single kuns, maybe like an extra routine in the future. National flag, Koki. Makes sense. Pillow. With the pirate in a tree. Oh boy, here we go. The tree pirate jumps from a tree and attacks you by hitting you with a pillow. That's kind of cute. Oh, we're going straight to the kunyomi. Makura. Okay, so ma is incredibly common. Kura, actually, I kind of like it. But, well, I don't think Mac is what I'm looking for, but I feel like let's compare. So Kura is really common. Although yeah. Although not everything is Kura. Like broken up between kana and kanji. Yeah. Let me see. Storehouse. Double storehouse, Kura. Okay. Oh yeah, alright. Kura, And then ma. I think ma and Kura is fine. I do think of cooler. Let's see, so we have a pirate, the tree. To is ma. From the Kura, a drink. Why in the tree? No idea. Oh, you know what? Under the tree. A drink. Interesting. Makura. Interesting. Alright. Background. Ae.
背景
Aike. Oh yeah, right. K, not A. Aike. Background makes sense. The float. Ku.
服
Okay.
旗
Mata.
国旗
Okay.
Heike
Okay.
Uku
All right. Off we go. Yukio ne. I do see the Kyo. Kyo e? Wood block print. A floating world painting. Wood block print. Interesting. The floating world refers to an evanescent world that is impermanent, floating, just as beauty and entertainment art. Back in the day, this type of art was made. Oh, I know what they're talking about. Yes. Yes, I do. Unfortunately, we don't have a name for this in English because they're so unique and special, but they come up with more than you think, so you get used to Ikio. I mean, I'm gonna be... I don't like this mentality here. Like, it's Yukio. That's the English. I
浮
have
世
on
絵
Yukio. Oh, the problem here is I'm not entirely sure. Don't really line up, but they're close to look. All right. What do you got for me? I see the u, so that's fine. Or I guess uki, sure. And then you take the kun from yo. Yeah, I see that. Oh, I see yuki from yuku, uku, uki to uku. All right, understand. Yo, and then e. Okay. Oh, I forgot e for this is onyomi. That's interesting. It can be a kun as well. Hmm. A fair. Well, oh, float energy. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, infidelity. This one didn't quite hit the mark in Chinese as well. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna go with it. Okay. That's how your spirit feels? Okay. Huh. How is this gonna work?
浮気
Uwaki. The other kun. Uwa. Alright. Okay. We got the uwa. We're just gonna have to get. It's our secondary. We're gonna work on our secondary reads, secondary kuns. Become thirsty. Kawaku. Note that this does not mean to be thirsty by itself, but only its combination. Yeah, to thirst. But only in combination. Interesting. The climate. Combined with. Wait. We're gonna have to read some. Kawaku. Let me see. Oh, okay, I see. Nodo. It kind of reminds me of the Onaka situation. Okay. Or Shawa. Alright. Water leakage. Makes sense. No sui.
漏水
No sui. No shutsu. Ne?
漏出
No shutsu. Hey. Pretty okay? Oops. That's not. Wait. Oh. I typed the wrong thing.
浮世絵
Kiyoe. Okay. Wait.
浮気 乾く
Okay. I don't know how they were interpreting this. I don't know what to become thirsty. Oh, become dry is what they're looking. Yeah, I'm gonna use to become dry to kind of remind me of the connection.
漏水
No see.
漏出
Goes to. Okay. To leak, right? So, right, intransitive. I wonder what can both physical and abstract. Okay.
漏れる
Moreru. Mo, huh? Hmm. Now roll. Hmm. Really want to place the read first. With the door. Oh, did you know? On malls. Okay. Okay, I think we're fine. You feel shy. Interesting. That requires you feel as your chest are illuminated when you start to feel. Ugh. Means to be bashful. Often situation or embarrassment stems from modesty rather than serious discomfort. Okay. Why have I? What? Why do I think I know what this?
照れる
No, never mind. Just kidding. I wasn't thinking of tereru. Ooh, this one is going to need a pivot in meaning as well. Possibly. All right. Me to her. Hmm. Ready. Ready. To her offer is te or oh my gosh. But her fate. But doing so illuminated her face. Her face illuminated. It's probably what I'm gonna do to get the meaning across. Okay. This one's rough. One's pretty rough. Illumination. Alright. We're back to some on the head stuff.
照明
Shome. Okay. The steel. Huh. Don't quite know this.
盗む
Nisumu. I feel like I've seen one noose before. Oh no! Alright, we're not using Nisu. No, we're not using Nisu. Oh man, but it's new and Su. Okay. The moose. The new. Yeah, we're gonna use new. New. At. Su. Soul. Okay. New hat of Su. Okay. Whatever works. This one's okay. Burglary. Oh, that kind of makes sense. Strong steel. Ah, kind of like robbing. Or like robbery. Yeah. Yep. Or robber. Yep. Translates. Qiang. Oh, actually. Oh, is this supposed to be Dao? Qiang Dao. Oh yeah, it is supposed to be Qiang Dao. Which lines up with robber. Okay. Or burglary. Or burglar. So what do we have here? Kyoto.
Goto.
I mean Koto. Oh yeah. Oh, whoa, no, not no. Oh, okay. The alternative reading. Oh no. Koto. We're not using go. That's interesting. Instead of using Godzilla or Go, Koichi's alternative grandfather figure. Do we use Go? That's kind of okay, honestly. The other one is Go. Standard goal is Godzilla, right? Go. I kind of like this more than using Go. Okay. Okay. So in Tokyo. Oh. Koichi. Go. Go in Tokyo. Few burglaries. Maybe right, Tokyo to Tokyo. Oh yeah, we're just using. We're not gonna use. No. And go right. Yeah, Kyoto. Due to no burglaries. Okay. Good enough. Hopefully. Okay. Is that it? Okay. Got some sketch ones.
照れる
How to like to blush? Whoops. What was the primary? To feel shy. Okay.
証明
Yeah.
漏れる
It is.
強盗
Oh. Okay. Wait. Oh. All right. A bit of a rough one. Plagiarism, steel work, or steel make. Fair enough. Saku. Maybe use the saku. It could be use shoku too. Or is it? No, sa. Sa is the other one. So let's go with Osaku.
盗作
Fair enough. Stolen goods.
盗品
Tohin. Next one. Ticket.
切
It.
符
Right. Next one. The next day. Checks out. Jitsu? Nichi. I'm gonna go with Jitsu. So,
翌
Yokujitsu.
日
Okay. Yokujitsu.
翌
Yokugetsu.
月
Alright. Nice. That was a quick 5. Gotta get used to.
盗品
Tohin.
盗作
Osake. Or what did they have? Oh, plagiarism. Yeah, stolen work is fine. Right, plagiarism. Makes sense.
切符
Okay. Yoku. Oops, that's a typo.
翌月
It's
翌日
it's it. All right, the next morning. Yoku
翌
asa.
朝
Okay. Yokunen.
翌年
Ah, yokutoshi as well. The reading can be either. Okay. Fair enough. 8. This is not I. It's maybe like ude or something. No, like sit.
せ
Yeah, sit. Okay. Let's see. Celery. Are we good with celery? Or sell? Or say? No, I think we have say. I'm not sold on celery yet. Although cucumber, pretty alright too. Let's see. Height, what do we have? Height? The haiku. About the height of celery. Sure. Alright. I'm not sure how that's gonna stick. We'll see. A list. It's kind of loosely there already because of measurements. A list. Oh, a list. We've got what? Sodan. Ichiran sounds okay. It doesn't have to eat ran. Oh, okay. Interesting. An overview looking over. With just one look at something, you'll be able to take in all because the something is a list. A nice list that gives you an overview. Looking over. Okay. Usually refers to a neat list you can skim over easy to get into info or an outline. I think I'm going to stick with not a list, but more so an outline. With studio, it becomes a formal verb for looking over. Okay.
一覧
Ichiran. Okay. All right. Looking at. Okay. Is that goal using the other type of goal? It might be. Yeah. Okay. It's the polite noun. Okay. And probably Goran is fine. Offers pair. Okay. Goran, or I'm going to guess it's Goran, is the polite noun form of miru. That means looking at, seeing, or watching. Oh, wait. Actually, it often pairs with. Okay. Ni naru. As in. Okay. Which is respectful to describe someone else's miru action. Oh. Some other common phrases you might hear. Please take a look. Okay. As you can see. Alright. They're formal but common in polite speech.
ご覧
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, the goal was the respectful. I don't know what would you call it, prefix.
Se.
Sit.
翌年
And then
翌朝
that's that.
一覧
Chiran.
ご覧
Goran. Wait, how did I describe this? Oh wait. No overview. Wait, how did they describe this? Looking at. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Now viewing. That type of viewing. Kan. Andan.
観覧
Okay. Andan. I don't quite remember what.
貧しい
Mazushi. Oh yes, mazu. I don't think we're gonna use mazu in that way. Actually, we do have mazu in terms of like maze or something, right? Oh, yikes. No, we're not using that. Using first of all to connect to poor is like taking a. Well, you're hoping this is common, right? Mazu. I suppose mazu is common. First of all, connected to poor. And so what else we have? Ma and zu. I think we're gonna go with ma and zu. She. You know, I haven't really thought about she. They're aminals. We're gonna do aminals, right? So the she and eagle. The ma at the zoo. Good enough. Oh no. Oh no, we have four? Oh, that's kind of tough. And we have bean. Oh boy. Hmm. Hmm. Bean is bin, right? Okay. Alright. It's a little tough. Purchase, that makes sense. Formal, yes. So what? Whole new.
購入
Alright. Purchasing makes sense. Formal term for the act of purchasing goods. Okay. Mostly in business or economic context. It often combines with another word. Oh, okay. In some contexts can also refer to school, shop, and campus store. Coal
購
my
買
bite. Oh yeah, coal bite. I don't know why they think, I just sworn there was already another bite. Oh no, there isn't actually. I'm thinking of bite for something else. Or I think I'm thinking sell actually.
購買
I might have to write a exception for this. How many buys do we have? Really doubt there are that many. And the other buy can be confusing. I'm actually thinking of sell. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am thinking of sell. That's kind of funny. My are sell and buy and sell. My, and then we have buy and buy in this case. Or purchase and sell. Interesting. And then we have a company. Alright, we're gonna use buy. Sure. Oh, instead of buy as in goodbye. I like buy better. So buy. So alright. Oh. Or kayaking. Swimsuit. Swimsuit. Bye. It's fairly convenient because it's purchasing. Speaking of, okay. Description. Interesting purchase read. Okay, I got you. This refers to paying for a subscription for some kind of reading material. Makes sense? Subscribing. A reading material. Doesn't quite age well, huh? What is that? Is that buy too? Okay. Where's that? Ooh.
購読
Kodoku. Oh no. This should go, which usually use if you know the reading of your kanji, you know this well. Okay, onyomi for doku. Was it really doku? Oh yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, we only have one other example. For doku. Yeah. Doksha. Or dokshu. No, doksha. In case you forget, think about how you got a subscription at the doku. I see. It's all about. Ooh. I think this is fine. I mean, I think that's the only doku. So far. Oh, no, wait. I guess we have doku for poison. Oh, that's true. And alone. I don't remember using doku as a reminder for alone. Any of dokus. I write a reminder if it becomes a problem. Oh, doku. Oh, I don't know. That was the last one. Oh well. I guess we'll find out. Oops.
Mazushi.
Mazushi.
Kandan.
Pandan. Okay. Oops.
購入
Oh yeah.
Kodoku.
Oh, doku.
購買
Oh boy. This is a little off. Oh no. No, no, no. It's not. It's the it's the business purchasing. Right. To go beyond. What do we have for go beyond again? Etsu. Oh, Etsu is it's rare sounding, so it could be Etsueru, but that's not really soon.
超える
Koeru. Okay. Etch is not too bad off this, so Edu, we can do like. Oh, I can't start with that. I'm using Edu as in love. It's okay. Or can we can use drawing, which is not too bad. Let's say the E. Is Etsu skills. Etsying skills compare to other ko. Go beyond. Go beyond love, idiot. Just idiot. Oh, idiot. Alright. Alright. Overstepping your authority? Oh, go beyond rights. Ooh. So, etsu. Etsuken.
越見
Ekken. Oh, makes sense. We need to shorten. Ken. The play. That is not what we started with. But it's. Oh no. Isobu?
遊ぶ
Asobu. Dang it. I thought it was E. Asobu. Yes. What in the Aso? How many Asos do we have? I can't unhear it now. Not enough. But basically no. So we're not using that. Oh no, but it's an ah. How we can use it as A. A modifies the second thing. So we'll keep them separate, right? Yeah. I was gonna default to arrow. Or not arrow, apple. Apple. Or an up. Up might actually work. Up and apple. Okay. So what do we have? You. I don't like boo. What currently we're doing boo. A soap. So A gets paired up with a lot of reads in the beginning, right? And kind of in the middle. I want something a little bit utilitarian. I think the Ue or the top row needs something fairly flexible. Not as bad after, only before. Something for boo as well. I was thinking maybe using not in Chinese. That's what I think about most of the time. Or like ghost, boo. Let's say not. But how do we do that? First. First. Before. Playing on the up. With soap. Wash hands. Okay. Boo. And we're like, ooh. Like until. That's kind of complicated. We'll see. Asobu. Amusement park, eh? UNG. Ne?
遊園地
Appropriate. Suitable, correct, sure. Tekto.
適当
Tekto. Okay. Okay. Fine, I think. Eyeballs. Okay. What? Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait.
越見
And okay. Overstepping, going beyond one's authority is going beyond is as common as overstepping.
遊ぶ
But I think that's kind of being pedantic right there.
「超える
What?
遊園地
適当
Tekito. All right, unsuitable. Yeah, there's the boo, but the who. So
不適
Teki makes sense. To deposit. You'll get it. Where you leave, okay, where you leave something in someone's care for a while, expecting to get it back. For example, we can, okay, deposit, right?
預ける
Azukeru. Okay, there's the another odd part. I'm still thinking about the app thing. Using app or using it as an A, because all the ahs end up being the next thing, right? A soap. Maybe Maybe I'll stick to so before, but I can still keep the app thing. I can use apple and app to reinforce, right? That's probably what we're gonna. We gotta play in apple and app. So, azukeru. Get it? Oh. He about the animals. Animals keru. And so in apple at the apple in the zoo box. Deposit it. I mean, I guess I'll just flex it around. Okay. Deposit it. Apples. Apple. Okay. Oh, yo. We're gonna still stick with yo-yo? No, well. I feel like I want to use yo. Okay. Spanish yo. Yo. Okay. Where are we? Next one. Bank deposit. Makes sense. Yokin. Short. Decorate. That's no shoku. That's no shoku.
飾る
Kazaru. Kaza. I feel like Kaza came up a couple times already. Let's see. Oh, not. Oh, it's Kazan is what I'm thinking of. Nope, we're throwing out Kaza. So what do we have? Ka and Za? Okay. And then we had Shoku. Make sure. Wow. I just realized there's not much if it's a do, huh? Maybe he was and Shoku or in the ka the za shoku. Okay. Oh, it was do okay. It was through maybe about I don't think it's necessary to keep it as an adjective where we kind of just know. Okay. Okay. All right, attire. Fuku, fukushoku? Fukushoku.
服飾
Shoku. All right. Was that fine? Yeah, I think that.
預金
Whoops.
預ける
okay.
不適
Taki.
飾る
Sorry.
服飾
Shoku. Okay. Fair enough. Decorative lighting. Okay. Yeah. This is quite specific word that generally used as a product category for decorative lighting. It's a less common word than other expressions, such as decoration. Decoration light. Or illumination probably. Illumination light. Yeah, illumination. Yeah. Okay. I mean that makes sense. So just the category. Okay. Denshoku. Alright. It make noise. Na? Oh, what if this just ends up being naku?
騒ぐ
Dang it! Why could it just be na? To line up with the other types of noises. Alright, fair enough. Sawa. Oh, sawa is good though. Sour comes up a lot. We're keeping sour. Sawa. Sawaku. Yeah, it's like irritate, annoy, bully. There's quite a lot of things. Or contact, sort of, or touch. Quite a few. Sawaku. Okay, to make noise. And we have soul. Good. What do we use for good? 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 I think we're using good, right? Dang it. Let's say his soul. Good soul. Resist from making noise. After awa fruit. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What do we got? Boisterous sound is Dean. The heck? It's the dean of the crowd or environment? What, the dean? Alright, I need help on this one. Dean, a loud, unpleasant, and prolonged sound. What the? Where have Dean been in my life? Dean. Den? Ding? Din? Din? Dang. Alright. Soul. Okay. Background. Wait, another background? Oh, yeah. Or the back. Oh, yeah, behind the scene, yeah. I'm gonna just write the back. Fine. Or, yeah. Haiko? Ne? Haiko?
背後
Haingo. Okay, the other way. Okay, Haingo. Sure. Wait. Was there something? No, okay. Pleasure. Yeah. Pleasure. Pleasant and comfort. Is it more commonly used in writing? Often. It's more commonly used in writing and describes pleasure with a sense of indulgence, especially physical or sensory pleasure. So, kairaku.
快楽
Kairaku. Alright. Cool. I'm okay with that.
騒音転職
転職。
騒ぐ
Okay.
背後
Hmm.
Kairaku.
Alright, last three. Oh, we're making record time. We did get like half of the vocabulary was fine. Pleasant. High-techy. Suitable, pleasant, yeah, agreeable or comfortable in that way, yeah.
快適
High-techy. Alright, to smell. Oh yeah, no.
匂う
Nyo, not now. Nyo. Nyo is technically a neutral term. If often to smell, although it is technical, it often means smell bad to emphasize this thing. Okay, like natto. Natto o nyo, or natto ga. Natto ga nyo. Maybe, I don't know.
匂う
Nyo. Hold up. Is there? I need a. Oh, kono perfume wa. I don't remember. Kono perfume wa. Let's see. We got kasui or interesting.
この香水は
Oh,
全
kosui.
く
Yeah,
匂
yeah.
わない。
Yeah. Yeah. Naku. Oh. Okay. So we always use wa. Okay. So, you know, natto wa. Do we add bad to it? That's interesting. Let's just stay with nyo. And this is nyo wa nai because it doesn't smell. It. Okay. Can I hear that again?
匂う
Nyo. Okay, it's going down. Nurasu. Wet, it's fine.
濡らす
Nurasu. Okay. Alright.
匂う
Yo.
快適
High-techy. Oh, pleasant. My bad.
濡らす
That's it. And then we'll pick up the two. All right. Pick up the two quickly.
催告
Daikoku. And
主催
site. Wow, today went really, really smoothly. All right. Let's get into our new 5. Okay. Very smooth. All right. I'm not as tired as I thought I was going to be. I've been chatty in the evening quite a lot, and there has been a lot of yapping. Kind of running on less sleep than I usually am at the moment. Temporary. So let's go over our new definitions of the new ones. So lineage. Addition. Scarce. Push. Burglary. Right. Only 5 this time. And then we do our mnemonic keyword. Cake. Han Solo. Bowling. Obi or O Station. It's fine. I have extra encoding for an Obi now. I kind of want to lean on Obi, but O Station's fine. And oh, this is everything. This is a kunyomi. So I remember Toll. Oh no, wait. Yes. So Makura. So Ma plus cooler. Oh yeah, this is working much better for kunyomi. Much better for first time kunyomi. All right, so now let's do our reads into our definitions. Right. Saku. Meat. And we have one correction, which is me. Waka. Yeah. Whoops. Waka, dry up. Me, alluring. Ke, lineage. Kon, marriage. You, play. E, flag. Show, illuminate. Kai, pleasant. An, addition. Bean, or. Bo, scarce. Eki, suitable. Yo, deposit. En, prolong. Yoku, next. The next something. Gan, look at. Natsu, nostalgia. O, push. Oops. And Makura, burglary. U and Uwa. U and Uwa for floats. Roll. Leak. U. Token. Ko. Purchase. Etsu. Onyomi. I'm pretty sure Etsu is still Onyomi. Choku. Decorate. Do. Boisterous. Hi. Back. Tatsu. Photograph. O. Feel. Nio. Nu. And. Mei. Oh, I forgot. Smell, wet, and niece. Not bad, not bad. Today was expedient, if I do say so myself. But 2 hours, it's between 2 hours and 3 hours right now for the second half, right, of the level. And then we have 3 hours to 4 hours for every level up day. So kind of on the high side, and we're gonna try to add 2026 stuff to the routine. Maybe I might consider starting to stagger for the second year. I met someone who shared how their workload and stuff look like when they're staggered. We'll see. I can still do skip a day, skip 5 and 10, skip day 5 and day 10. For whatever I'm doing on the other things. We're getting close to the end of the year, and end of the year means I plan for 2026's projects, the year-long projects. I haven't thought about phasing WaniKani and Hazahiro to like a secondary thing and then focus on the 2026 project. I think we're engaging in projects that take more than 1 year. Like the Duolingo stuff isn't complete either. The Duolingo stuff got expanded. It got updated recently. So we might do half and half Duolingo. I try to break it, stagger it in a way that I can juggle the two. Again, usually the concern right now is not the lack of interest or the lack of things to do. It's more like there's a lot of things to do, and taking my time encoding the things is the most important thing to me. Rushing through everything, in my opinion, or constantly hyper focusing on increasing volume is the last couple of days we've been talking about this quite a lot because I've been sharing some commentary between someone who has an active role in looking at methods as well. I genuinely focus on the idea that learning the complete steps is what leads to going through the entire process at the moment you're doing it is the essence of learning. Going halfway is not the way. So if you want to remember things, memory is a whole 9 yards. The encoding, the exposure, capture, and the retention is when learning happens. Skipping a step or relying on any weaker step and doing that optional step does not lead to learning. Practice can be free of capturing the information and possibly analyzing it, right? However, practicing is the last step. It's practicing retention. So oftentimes I feel like most people skip the last step. It's incredibly underrepresented, and you capture information and you temporarily retain the passivity and then lose it, right? There's no retention, and without the whole process, right? We're talking about, I think I've gotten a lot more about how I can lay out things. some inspirations from the last 3 or 4 discussions, right? We have exposure is the word I would use. Exposure, this is where the information occurs, right? That's 1. And then 2 is, we're going to say integration. Or actually, I prefer the word that I've been emphasizing to the new person that I've been talking to the last week. Association. So exposure, association, retention. To me, without completing these 3, I would consider it not sufficient for learning. Like this, we're talking about sufficiency. This is required, sufficient for learning. Outside of this is not sufficient. So you can do way more than this. Like you can add another step here, you can do other crazy things, but without these 3 fundamental process, if you're not going from here, like if you're not capturing these things, then that session does not result, in my opinion. Like this is learning. So oftentimes I feel like what is lacking is this last step. First of all, exposure is overrepresented. This is overrepresented. This is mid, very mid. So I usually spend like 80 to 90% of my time working on association. Exposure, I work on like 5% of the time, like maybe even less. Like this, for example, WaniKani, I worked on choosing WaniKani in the beginning, and then 5% of the time I'm doing lessons out of the 11-day cycle, right? So you know what, I'll probably raise this to 10%. 80% of the time is on association. Actually, for development, I would say, if we're not actively developing anything and we're talking about the time I spent, it'll be 10% on exposure. I'm going to say 20% on association and 70% on retention. So in terms of time, but generally speaking, this is overrepresented. Most people would use like an 80% dump on exposure. They would try to develop their association, which I would consider this as I would consider this as mid development, maybe even deficient. And then retention is very little. And the reason why it's possible is design, commitments, and convenience is the crutch for retention. So retention can still be pretty decent. It's dependent on, like, for example, an app design, like a scheduler, or a automated process. So this is compensated. So retention is compensated. And I typically, when I'm talking about things, I focus on forming association. Even though it doesn't necessarily take up most of my time, it takes up way more time than exposure. I might actually even lower exposure and put a range for developments. association is anywhere from 20, I'm going to say 20 to the upwards of 50% on high volume days, on like specific days. And then this is typically, we're talking about 75%, anywhere from 50 to 75% of the time. So you can see that, in my opinion, most people focus on something that's overrepresented and have a weaker distribution of this. Now, the reason why I chose this distribution is because since this is overrepresented, I have no shortage. I have no shortage of obtaining exposure. So I focus on the things that are underrepresented. So I do the opposite of what's readily available in order to create a balance. Largely, so when someone feels like they're deficient in association, that's part of the association is part of the encoding process. And then retention is the discipline and consistency. It's well and good when something can compensate for your lack of discipline, due diligence, self-reflection, contextualization, all that, like maintenance, right? A designed app or some sort of automated process can alleviate your need for that skill, for this type of skill, which makes it optional. However, while you're not doing anything for retention, a lot of exposure could be redistributed to developing the deficiency in encoding. And that's where I focus on, where you have to define association. I was watching someone else's video today that was brought up yesterday with a conversation with someone, and that person was talking about reading, and he had like an acronym for that, and largely this type of model also checks out with that person. It's a highly coincidental, but I obviously use different terms. But association is one that I don't think, in my opinion, the modern language learner, the person that's online, have any problems with retention, largely because I think they're purely satisfied most of the time with compensating using automation to save time and efficiency and whatnot, right? And I do have schedulers and whatnot that also alleviates that. So this can go down, basically. It can go down to less and less. I still exercise most of my discipline on retention. The other part of retention is manual creation. Manual creation is one way to reinforce retention, and that takes up a lot of this time. And then for association, for encoding and stuff, that deals with mnemonics, contextualizing, creating connections, right? Conceptualizing, self-evaluating, and integrating different things. And then exposure is pretty much, in fact, I would say the growth from exposure is pretty lacking, in the sense that you can get a lot of sources, but without the association and retention balancing out exposure, it doesn't matter how much information you get and how much information you splash onto your forehead and your eyeballs. You do not retain or learn it completely without association and retention, right? And right now I'm trying to figure out a less messier way to talk about this. And it's not that exposure is not important. There are people that I've met that have more problems with exposure when they're not, when they're not exposed to something, for lack of a better word, exposed to a world where you have too much of it, or you have an imbalance of it. So the idea is, if you're online profusely, exposure is a skill that you would have practiced incredibly well. Keeping your eyes peeled, constantly filtering and gaining the information you want, that's usually well practiced. In my opinion, you're already past the 80th percentile when you're consuming YouTube videos and looking at reviews and listening to commentary, that is already trained really, really well. So investing and trying to elaborate more, like you're looking for information on getting more information, that is a practice in diminished return. I would actually go as far as saying you're so practicing it, the more you practice it, the more time you're not using for balancing it out in order to retain that information. So you get information in one ear and out the other, in one eyeball and out the other, over and over again. And it's an exercise in diminished return. Not that you're crappy at getting exposure, you're really good at getting exposure. So good that learning gets sacrificed. Your potential for learning gets sacrificed for focusing on the first step and nothing else, right? If you don't pass the association and the retention phase, there isn't learning. And this was brought up again because I was reminding myself I had a kind of an argument, so to speak, with someone maybe 3 weeks ago, how they were expressing that their greatest reward, or the reward that they like, was collecting information or collecting data. This is what I'm meaning about. The reward that the vast majority of people who are online or who like sits there and believe, in my opinion, respectfully, believe that they are learning by collecting information because that's where their dopamine source is. It's very rewarding to constantly be collecting and recording and archiving information that you don't otherwise form associations or retention in practice immediately. That to me constitutes as not learning. And what happens is that this is the generalized point of instant gratification. The idea that when people say, oh, I collected a lot of information over a long period of time, it's about the journey and not the destination. I disagree. Respectfully, disagree. You are completing the first step. You like the act of collecting something. That also feeds into collecting Pokemon cards, collecting digital goods, collecting bottle caps, without association and the retention of the meaning and the evaluation of your act of collecting. There is only instant gratification and not necessarily long-lasting learning from it. Like when you collect Pokemon cards, what did you learn from it? Like if you collect the Pokemon cards, what are the stories? Do you remember a story that you had collecting this collection? What kind of value you were aiming at versus the value of your expectations versus the actualized value of the Pokemon cards? You're creating associations of value and you're retaining and reinforcing and calculating using Pokemon cards. The act of simply collecting it is the form of instant gratification that does not, in my opinion, most of the time lead to any active learning. So you can choose to use that as a way of catharsis, as in, oh, I like collecting things too. That's great. Collecting is not learning. Knowing and seeing a bit of information, in my opinion, is not learning that information. You have yet to learn or store the value of that information yet, both in your brain and maybe subconsciously. I don't know, usually your brain, right? So whenever language learners, in my opinion, say something like, oh, they got to level 70, and I'm like, describe what level 70 means to you. I know WaniKani ends at level 60. I'm just choosing a hypothetical number. And if they say, well, it means that I completed all these levels, then that means you have collected all that information and maybe you might remember some of it, right? Because you are still, for the most part, most people who use apps may have enough association skills, like 15% of it, and then hopefully the app adds another 5%-ish. That means that over time, in another year, you might retain like 10 to 15% at the most 15% of all the content you collected. Sure, you have a record of doing it, but you have not learned 85% of the data you collected, the information you collected. So when you go into your card collection, right, how many of your card collections have integral meaning, value, representation, and recall of those Pokemon cards, for example? Do you have them? And I can assure you, the ones that really love the hobby of Pokemon cards, they can practically read verbatim most of the cards they collect. That's different for someone who says they like collecting things and don't say anything about it or use anything about it. The ones that, so I'm not saying all Pokemon card collectors are the same. The ones who are learning from it are the ones who can recall details, use them, and talk about them. The ones that are collecting for the sake of catharsis, as in, oh yeah, it's nice that it's there, so one day I'll wait to find a use for it. That's not learning, in my opinion. That's storage. You are storing something. You have not learned anything yet. And as optimistic as I can, I would like to encourage someone like that. It's like, well, I hope you find use for it soon. Or maybe in the future it comes handy and then you learn then. You store information in hopes that you learn its value and usefulness when the opportunity presents itself. That is, in my opinion, the cheapest form of gratification because it's easily accessible. It's also addictive, I guess. Instant gratification. The delay gratification comes from actually learning the usefulness of that information you stored. And I think this kind of creates a well-balanced commentary on the last couple weeks with various people, and a couple weeks even further back with a person who I may have been a little direct about, but personally, since I don't see them or speak with them anymore, it clarifies what type of interest they had. Clearly they weren't interested in the things about learning or not. They were more interested in collecting things, right? And that's perfectly all right. At least I know that it was fairly clear what the intents are. This, I feel, is where I have a bit of a reservation with more recent things I read about how learning works. And I am also fairly optimistic that there are individuals who are far more influential that are sharing the distinction between the different steps in learning. And they definitely have some provocative ways of using their acronyms and whatnot. I ended up choosing these type of terms, but the conceptual and explanator, like when I explain this conceptually, they overlap with various influential people who do this for a living, right? Especially Justin Sung. I saw like one of his advertisement, like there was a video because we talked about various people yesterday that seem like educators, and YouTube served me a video and I decided to watch the entire video, and it was about how people remember things they read, right? How they remember and potentially learn from the things they read. Learning and reading is usually synonymous because you want to read for the sake of learning, and you can do both, which is achieved by remembering, quote unquote, everything you read, which is not the same as literally reading everything you read, but the things that you need to know in order to learn the material. So, and he had this little elegant acronym he called PACER. And more or less, PACER is what I refer to as the association step. Except a little bit of the R is my retention step. And then a little bit of the P is somewhat related to the early stages of methodology. So method. And it was really elegantly placed. And whenever I said you need to balance, right? Balance capturing these things as well as associating retention, it's pretty much all there. Which was very enlightening. It was quite interesting to see how all of these ideas are organized from a different person's perspective. And it's comforting. I usually find affirmation a bit comforting. Pure coincidence, though. I say it's a coincidence, yet I don't necessarily think I believe in those coincidences. It's not uncommon for someone who is well educated, went through various periods of professionalism and higher education, tackled a bunch of problems, and yes, of course, he also sound like someone that I would agree on, because he mentioned problem solving, critical thinking, problem solving, critical thinking, analyses, and then creativity are the peak of retention and learning. The bottom stuff is exposure, collecting, foundational work in association, and then repetition. Those are the bottom. They're the bottom foundations. So the higher you peak up from your bottom foundation, the higher your learning capacity becomes, or illustrating. And hats off to Justin Sung, because near the end, when he was talking about retention and stuff, he shared a bunch of strategies that other people focus on, and one of them is teaching, instruction, coaching, and application. Largely all of them would, the retention part, what I would usually say is application. Like all the strategies that he was talking about is application. So when you have application, you have retention. It could be playing a video game that you like and you're actively translating it by outputting the things you know. That's an application. Writing videos, speaking to multilingual people, not just speak to native speakers. Not just to, if you speak to native speakers, you listen to native speakers, those are two applications of review. It's to reinforce your retention. But you can do far more than that if you want, provided you have enough time to do so, right? The things you want, in my opinion, when you are in adulthood, are based on the applications. Application is the maintenance. So why do I use the word application? Because the vast majority of where people get their application is from an app. What is the application? Show up to reviews. What is the application? Show up to lessons. What is the application? Reach your weekly goal that the app scheduled for you. Those are the minimum applications people use. Not teaching, expressing, creating, writing, drawing, any form of, in my opinion, higher level use and application of the knowledge you form by association. And the thing about application is application can produce data that reinforces the association. So you stay in this loop most of the time. You introduce new exposure data when you can. It's the balance between exposure and association and retention. If you have too much exposure and your association and retention loop is not that great, then whatever you overfill your association and retention, you end up losing more than you're gaining. So what happens is you end up spending a lot of time, in a disproportionate amount of time, exposure without ever associating, retaining, internalizing the information. So you could increasingly, Justin Sung had a really nice, elegant equation, so to speak. You have exposure plus a percentage So a constant A times your retention, your retention constant. So we're going to call it RC equals, right, equals what you learned is how I look at it. So exposure, you can keep increasing exposure. If exposure goes up, right, yes, your learning also goes up. But if your retention rate is so low, increasing your exposure even higher versus improving your retention rate ends up becoming a hindrance. So like the time you invest in improving your retention and your association, your retention and your association can end up playing a bigger role than the increasing amount of time you're spending on collecting exposure data. So in the long run, this is what I refer to as the balance approach. You're trying to balance these two, not hyper focus on one. And I feel whenever I look at someone's schedule and their attempt, nearly all of their time is invested in exposure. And it's to the point where when someone is forming an association skill, they still focus on exposure. So like, for example, the last couple of weeks, I was talking to someone, they've been making cards, right? Flashcards. Manually doing them is great. Now the thing is, the person kept emphasizing volume over, like, dominantly reliant on volume over the quality, as in developing association skills 2 and 3. So the person typically focused on, oh yeah, I have to do this many cards, I have to get through this many things, and I'm getting through them the same way I have always gone through them, as opposed to evaluating what is going on, what is falling apart in the association process, and what's not keeping them consistent. So they are neither consistent nor have a consistent way of forming associations yet. And over time, they keep saying it's about the volume. I just need to do my reviews. I need to do my exposure over and over again to make up for my association and retention. Again, it does work. If you increase your exposure, it will lead to potential more learning. The question is, you're asking if you're efficient about it. Well, if you have an incredible deficiency in association and retention, an increase in exposure leads to a much lower increase in learning output. You have to make sure that your balance of your association and your retention rates to take advantage of that exposure. So oftentimes I like to tell people that you might want to evaluate how you're encoding and also retaining your information, because going headlong into, I'm going to go over this material, then I'm going to go over this material, I'm going to hit this material and hit this material, and as you're learning and moving to new material, you're forgetting and not retaining the material at a distance. That's what SRS is trying to alleviate, right? Your app that it's automated is trying to alleviate the skills and critical thinking skills involved in understanding when you're doing other things, you also require that. So what's a way to save time, if you want, is you can try to remove this by using convenience. So then hopefully your retention rate at least is fairly appreciable. That doesn't mean you learned how to retain the thing. You're using it as a crutch right now to understand, to use something that works. If it doesn't work, it requires that you actually did it to know what you're looking for. So that's usually where we get stuck, right? Like I talk to a person Like, so do you know why your associations aren't working? Like, do you know why when you think of a keyword and you're visualizing it, it doesn't come up with the thing the second time around or the third time around? This is where we practice. We're here to work on this. I also work on this every day because this is cheap. Like, and what I mean by cheap, I don't mean lacking in quality. I mean it's cheap as in it's plentiful. Information is plentiful. Learning is not. Learning is disproportionately using more time soaking and exposing information that you otherwise won't need or remember. And that's kind of unfortunate. And it leads to that ye olde feeling where you're grinding and you're making very little progress. It contributes to that feeling. There's a whole other part about the grinding feeling because you're always doing the same thing, and when you feel like you're always doing the same thing and getting less, yes, the volume that you know, and every day the progress is much slower to that volume. That's one perspective that contributes to grinding. The other perspective that contributes to the grind feeling and the lack of progress is that your methodology and your retention and your association is not actively engaged. You're not actively involved in your exposure of that information. So really, in the long run, you are actually not learning anything. You're practicing. Most of the time, people practice what they already know. They don't learn things and then practice those things they learn with the things they already practice. So if you think you're saying, oh yeah, mnemonics. Yeah, mnemonics is about using everything I know and doing it exactly the same way and hope that it scales up. And then when you have a problem, you choose, it's not the method, it's the volume. We just scale up and do it even more often. That's not true. That's what happens when you are exposed to the same information and you have yet to learn or internalize it. You did not analyze it, you did not critique it. There was no iteration on it. So when you start with a method, I like to think that if you know you're doing what I think you're doing and you're learning something, your method will not be the same by the time you learn something. There will be a propensity and a tendency to change something for the better due to your learning capacity. So if you're going through WaniKani right now and you're like on day 300 and you're feeling like, nah, WaniKani is not working for me, and you actively try to make it work, then you should look for something else. If you say, nah, WaniKani is not working for me, and you're like, it used to work and it doesn't work now, even though I'm doing the same thing, you didn't learn anything. In my opinion, you stored a lot of information that will be temporarily available, and I hope that you went to use that information somewhere else. But WaniKani didn't teach you anything, in my opinion. Or like, it didn't teach you in a way that led you to learn something. You have temporarily stored some information and they have yet to be used. And the goal mostly for WaniKani people is when they reach a certain level, a certain volume that they can still retain, they immediately go and find ways to form association and retention. So they start reading at level 30, graded readers, other ways that only they can process how to learn. And if you're wondering, can you learn things from WaniKani? Yes, you can. You can change your methods, you can do encoding, you can create your own mnemonics, you can do and transition into learning something from WaniKani. But if you're here simply for getting like storage of information, yeah, it takes like level 15 or level 20. You probably stored enough information. And hopefully that leads you to something else in which it encourages you to perform associations and retention. Otherwise, finishing WaniKani would be an exercise in increasing exposure with diminished return in learning. So you will learn less and less and less over time. If not, pretty much you won't learn much at 15, after 15, or maybe the first 3 months. And Duolingo, very similar. Duolingo has it even more simplified. It has even more exposure and relies on the person to form the associations and the retentions that they have. So it's even more. It's like 95% exposure without any inclination to try to form associations or retention. Like there are attempts to it. However, it's so reliant on the user. And there is the double edge for Duolingo. Duolingo is designed to attract beginners and give that exposure. And that's it. That's their design. That's the goal of their design. They may or may not trigger someone to form association or retention. That's why it's fun, but not the greatest source of learning. It was intended by design to form exposure. Whether you use association or retention, it doesn't develop those skills or challenges you to do those. WaniKani, kind of. It slightly does, because the mnemonic is kind of challenging, actually, to get accustomed to. Anzahiro does it even more. So when you're looking at your app, the question is, are you forming associations or retention or understanding how things work? In my opinion, if you don't, then I hope that when you get that exposure, you're using it somewhere else. I disagree with someone who thinks that, I really disagree with this. I think it's my biggest trigger point when someone thinks that you can store all the information temporarily and somehow wait very far down the line to be like, oh yeah, now I can take all that information and somehow form associations and retention in retrospect. You can be the smartest person in the world and they still struggle. Like the greatest memory, like I like Justin's example. You can be a person who had pure eidetic memory, and yet with all that information, they don't necessarily create association and retention in a way that leads to higher reasoning or problem solving, because you did not use that information. You can have all the information in the world and retain it through repetition or pure brain power, and it would still not, in my opinion, it would still not correlate with a heightened level of critical thinking, reasoning skills, and iteration, right? So like refinement or anything. So this part, in my opinion, is what most people avoid. Like whenever someone says, I want to learn something, and the first thing they look for is none of this and this. Like, oh man, this app, it doesn't cover all 4,000 kanji. That's what they look for. Like what? So what if they don't cover 4,000 kanji? Like there's a chance focusing on that metric won't get you anywhere to learning. You did not apply yourself. You did not form associations or retention. You were not encouraged to focus on the aspect. I would argue that an app that focuses on the first 500 kanji and all the different possible ways of making that, using or applying those 500 kanji, that time will allow you to retain those 500 kanji versus the 4,000 kanji that you'll only remember 100 of because you only focused on the volume. And that is where the last couple of weeks made me realize that maybe I should be a little bit more clear about this. I do have a slight opinion where in cases of extreme, this used to be extreme. I think now it's getting closer and closer to being a social norm. It's regular now and normal to behave like this. 80-15-5. I think before the internet was inundated with hustle, information, and incredible things to feed the starving mind for information, there was a far less emphasis on the importance of how much information you know, but how much information you can use and apply. Now, post the internet, I think it's a custom for people to associate somehow that being blasted without information somehow means that you learned a lot of things. And this distinction is becoming more of a regular thing in order to emphasize that you know a lot of information, you don't learn from it until you actually use it. So to me, how do you remember something very quickly and for a long time when you're learning it? You discover how much information you can take in, how much time you have to associate it and to retain it, and that information stays permanent, or you'd like to believe it's self-perpetuating. Then you don't need to learn it again. So what happens is, if you learn the first 500 kanji, you're expected not to go back, but only forward with the kanji. But to me, even SRS can't alleviate the idea that people still can forget things because they are passively constantly reliant on things and not understanding why they work. So if you come back, and this is a common WaniKani thing where someone says like, oh, hey, you know, I've been using WaniKani for quite some time now, and every time I go and read a book or read something else, you're like, they would say like, I can only remember the kanji when it's in WaniKani, but I kind of just lose myself in the sentence. Like, well, yes, you're not actively trying to form connections and associations while also using the WaniKani information in those situations, right? You're not making the connection, the association between them. So without that association, it doesn't get used in that way. You didn't apply the information. You have a bunch of information and it's floating in outer space in your temporary storage. So you might be thinking then, well, do I use this information? I use some of it, right? I use some of it, but in WaniKani, I also use it for other purposes. I use it to create mnemonics. I use it to associate to English. So when I'm speaking English, I also think about the Japanese. When I'm gonna move on to Hanzahiro soon, I also use the Japanese there. I'm forming associations despite not working on sentences on stream. I can then choose to work on sentences when I'm active. And what I would do is I would associate the information I have on WaniKani, Hanzahiro, with the source of sentences and information. I would use that knowledge to learn the sentences. Then the sentences then become attached to all the things that I have learned through WaniKani, Anki, whatever your favorite app is. If you do not associate these things, it is unsurprising when someone says, hey, whenever I go read a sentence, I forget everything that I've learned in WaniKani. It's like, well, yes, you have to start by forming associations first. Have you done that? And then we have the other example this week where someone constantly makes flashcards, and their flashcards work the first time, or they think they work the first time, or they make sense, and then when they go and use it to recall something, it doesn't work. And the question, I asked the person the question, like, what is it that you get stuck on? What are you thinking this time? How is that different from the first time you wrote it? You're not forming connections with your thoughts. Your thoughts, the first day might be different from the second day, but you can form a connection between those two. So when you form a connection between those two, the third day, it could be one of those two. And then the problem is gone. Like the recalling the information is there now, right? So that's associating, and then retention. You're retaining the things you're associating over and over again to the point where they reinforce each other. Constant exposure does not lead to learning. It is with exposure, association, and retention that learning actually happens, in my opinion. Minimally, we're talking about the least amount of things you can do. You can do fanciful other things like music therapy, or sensory focusing, or that type of thing. There are other things around this, but these are the three core. Like, it's the minimum that you can grasp, right? So then that person's like, okay, well, I'll just do more. Like, well, you can't do more if your retention and your association rate is like near the product, right? The multiplication, the product of your association and your retention constant. If it is near 0, it doesn't matter how much exposure you have, you will still get 0 learning. That's pretty much what I wanted to mention in a more concise way for the future. Maybe in the 400-day review, we'll talk about these things. Oh, they're like, all right. So that's a wrap for our WaniKani session. We kind of finished an hour early, so it gave me time to talk about this a little bit. If you're gonna watch this later, arigatou gozaimasu. Right. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up WaniKani, give it a try. Let me know what you think. I'm always here to yap about theories, strategize, exchange stories, keep each other motivated and thinking. Right? Constantly association, iteration, self-evaluation, and motivation. Right? So until next time, minasan mata ne. Mite kurete arigato. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get up, take a quick bathroom break, walk around a little bit, stretch, and I'll be back for Hanzo Hero. Thank you.